And so here we go. Cameron, start us off.
Yeah, so this circle right off the bat was going to be a shooting range circle,
Yes.
which already we saw so many teams fighting for that central position because playing outside of that, it's really hard, it's really rough, and we saw a lot of this happening for teams just trying to come in from the edge.
Yeah, and the interesting thing to point out about what you just said is you are correct. The problem is that too many teams, once they get into the center of shooting range, then becomes kind of like a prone-off, right? Or where a situation where not a lot of teams want to kind of poke out. And the thing is playing edge on this circle is great. The other issue with that, though, is the fact that there's too many teams playing on the edge, and so it becomes this kind of really claustrophobic circle, especially because there's really not that much cover to hide behind either.
Listen, I thought Sonic's position here, they hung out in this little dip on the southwest edge of shooting range for quite a while, was a very strong position because they were able to be safe from a lot of the teams on the edge, but they didn't have to deal with the big population of the shooting range itself. But wildcard, that push from the north, I'm really kind of disappointed that we didn't get a lot of footage of that in the highlight because the highlights!
Ooh, there we go. It's about time. This was actually a really nice little squad wipe coming out of United Valley. I mean, really clean spray. This, man, this really frustrated me. The fight between EU and Othir was actually great for EU. I thought they had good utility on the nades. They had a lot of good damage coming out. This is what frustrated me the most. I'm not sure if Valley got stuck trying to jump over and get over the debris, but Los very clearly was wide swinging so they didn't get a trade. I mean, it's obvious. Fortunately, for whatever reason, Valley wasn't there for it.
Yeah, it could have just been slightly delayed comms.
Yeah.
The second watch through, you almost want to say that he would give a moment for Valley to get ready for the swing, but either way, it was a slight unforced error between them. But here is the take of Sonics onto Fubo. Very good play by them because they had to manage multiple other teams with the potential down that angle. But then here are the final moments of them with those first couple of knocks, then just pushing it to SSG. Not a spread at the end game, but we'll get to there when we get there because there was a lot of transitional action that was happening.
Chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Going throughout this game, a lot of people getting shoot out of vehicles, shooting from vehicles. And that's honestly, I think, because of how much open ground was needed to be moved over by so many of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast when you look at a circle, especially one that kind of centers on Death Road, right? That dirt road just above Snake Compound as well as Farm. Like this, we talk about it constantly. It's such a difficult area to play, and that's just because, first of all, as you were stating, Cameron, there's really not that much cover around it. Second of all, there's already teams established on the road, and the amount of backstabbing, third-partying that happens around this area is just brutal. On top of the fact that you also have Potato Hill just to the northwest, which is where Sonics came from. Again, just chaos everywhere, and the team that really, honestly, did the best, in my opinion.
Let's start up and let's look back because it was a unique circle. So tell me, Cameron, is it true? Is Poro right or Clover? Was it just a gift from the go?
Yeah, very much. Very much so.
I think, Mike's right. Call it like it is. I mean, they got circle luck. Obviously, there's this shame in that. Someone has to get the circle. It just happened to be all 9 for the Sonics.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. If you want to give the Sonics any sort of applause, it would be for getting to that position initially because a lot of teams had to rotate. It's not like they landed here in Oasis on the drop, moved the area, and didn't have to move, right? So their early game macro put them in a position to capitalize on the shifts to take that compound. Once they were there, though, especially when we hit the late game, it was all Sonics all the way.
You also, I mean, you want to talk about the games you're supposed to win. Sonics did not squander a single moment with that. That's the main thing. It's like, yeah, sure, they got gifted. I don't think any.
Obviously.
I don't know. You never know. You never know. But no, listen. TSM, despite me ragging on them for struggling pushing in, have some amazing fraggers on their team. Still some of the best mechanically, but this is an example of them struggling to push in from the edge. They should be able to take this fight reasonably well. Granted, Systematicos had a nice angle to sort of get the final kill onto them there.
And after hearing from Gunner, it makes sense why we're seeing them on edge so much. The issue is they're not able to capitalize on the edge the way they, at least it seems like the way they used to be, right? And we know TSM used to also like to play center a lot, or at least get a better position in the circle. They've seemed to transition to more of an edge style, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. But the execution of it for them has just been, it's been a little lackluster, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, we talk over the end of this game because even more so than the Sonics, this was SSG's game to lose. That DraftKings even recognizes that, throws a flash into this
game of the day.
I mean, I think we saw a few desperation plays on this final game of teams wanting to deliver the last chance of the night, but also, we have to mention it, the amount of field in this circle, even leaving the mid game, was a reason why it forced a number of these plays.
I mean, this circle, again, breeded quite a bit of chaos as well, because as you saw, the final circle was just nothing but open fields.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you see a lot of those kind of desperation plays, because teams realize, okay, if I don't take this position, by the way, this was a valiant effort from Wynn. He did quite a bit of damage to SSG in the back as well. But yeah, this is just a rough circle for these guys to kind of navigate, specifically because of how much open field there was.
Yeah, you can't take the field, which means you're relegated to the edge, but when everyone is relegated to the edge, it's very difficult to manage your proper spacing over there. And it does mean that the